Today's video is all about the power of compounding. A very simple concept, but a concept that very few people really truly understand. And today we're going to get really into what it is and how you can apply it to your own life to get an extremely strong and outstanding financial future. So let's jump in. Hi, my name is James Corsia and welcome to the Money Paradox podcast. Yes, that is right. We're going to go through this really cool subject of compounding. It is something that I've applied in my own life, doubted at times, but when I started to see it work really well, my financial future exploded. So I'm going to go through it. I'm going to go through what it is you need to do to understand it and apply it to your own life so you can get the same kind of results too. Okay, so let's jump in. So what is compounding first of all? Well, really it is an exponential curve. And an exponential curve just simply means that the increase, right, of that curve increases, very simply. So if you think about, you've got your x-axis and you've got your y-axis. And if you think about it, if you were saving £100 a month, right, then your savings would go up pretty stably, right? So £100 the first month, £200 the next month, £300 the third month, £400 the fourth month, and so on. Very simple, very straight line, right? So that's great, right? You're taking that first step of being able to consistently save money to build that financial stability, that security, that amount of money that sits in the bank to be able to pull on when situations arise, right? Nice, static, stable line. Now, compounding is where the gradient of that line starts to increase, okay? So as you are saving money, what you can do is, if you invest that money, okay, then you can make money from that money. So let's explain this really simply. So each month we save £100, but let's say, for example, for simplicity, we got a 10% return rate. Okay, so we have no money, so we've got no money to make money from, right? So at the beginning of this, we have no money. 10% times 0 is 0. Well, after 1 month, we have £100. Well, 100 times 10% is £10. So when we go into our second month, right, not only have we made £100 more to 200, but we've also made £10 from the previous month's interest on what we had. So it would go not from 100 to 200, but it would go from 100 to £210. And then think about it on the next month. It would start at 210. 10% of 210 is 21 plus 100. So that's 121. And we add that to the 210. 210 plus, it's getting complicated. Where's my calculator? Where am I starting? Okay, so we've got 210 and we add on 121. That is £331. Quick check. So we've gone from 210 to £321. And what starts to happen is the difference between each of these months starts to increase. So first, it starts to look just like normal because it's not much of an increase. But when you start to get much bigger numbers, it starts to increase even further. Until that curve's going so steep, right, that even though not much time is progressing, the amount of money you're making is going really, really high, right? So the x-axis on the bottom, that is time, right? Time goes on, right? You have more money, right? The amount of money you have goes up, or wealth, or the value, whatever you want to call it. But the number is going up higher. Make sense? That's really it. Simply, job done. Well, let me come at it from a few different angles, because a lot of people hear about this subject, but they don't really understand it and understand how to apply it in their own life. They intellectually might understand it, but don't actually do anything with it, right? And doing something with this topic, it sounds super simple, but when you apply it, wow, it is amazing. And why? I'll come on to that in a second. But before I do, if you enjoy this video, please do like it. If you've enjoyed my other videos and you think other people that you know would benefit from it, please do share it. If there is some burning question that you have that you want me to address in future videos, please do let me know in the comment section below or DM me privately. Whatever you like, let me know and I'll be sure to answer those in future. In addition, if you want to subscribe to my channel so you can find out about my future videos, every week I send out a video. I chuck it out on all the different social medias so you can digest it in however which way you want to. But what you can rely on is me bringing out some awesome juicy content every week that hopefully is of value to you. So let's go back to the topic in hand. Now, I've explained what compounding is, but let me go through a really simple example just so you can see the extent of how these figures work. Now, let me pull it up because I think this is awesome. If I can find it. Great. Okay, so this is a really, really great way to explain it. All right. Let's say you play a game of golf and you say to your friend, you say, I bet you that if I get this first, if I win on this first hole, right, then I'm going to win 10p from you. Okay, so I'll bet 10p, you bet 10p. If I win, I get the 20p. If you win, you get the 20p, right? Your friend goes, yeah, sure, why not? It's 10p, who cares? It's not a big deal. Fine. So you play the hole and they win. Great, fine. They take your 10p, no big deal. Well, you move on to the next hole and you say, friend, let's make it a little bit more interesting. Why don't we double it? Friend says, sure, whatever, it's 20p, no big deal. Fine. So you play the next hole and you win, and you win on that hole. So you make 20p. Great. Okay, no big deal, small amount of money. You move on to that third hole and you say, well, friend, let's make it even more interesting. Let's double it again. In fact, we've got 18 holes. Why don't we just keep doubling the amount of money that we're betting, right? It's not going to get that much because, we're starting on a pretty low number. Let's just keep going in that way, make it more interesting, make it a more interesting game. So your friend says, sure, why not? Let's go for it, okay? So you start playing. Third hole, fourth hole, fifth hole. Well, what are the numbers that you're betting? That's the next question, right? On your third hole, it's obviously, what? 40 pence, yeah, that's right. Fourth hole, 80 pence, okay. Starting to get interesting, almost a pound. What would the 18th hole be? You're playing that 18th hole, okay, and you win. How much money would you win? You start on 10 pence. How much money would you win? Quick, get those calculators if you can work it out. £13,000. In fact, £13,010 to be precise. That is a huge amount of money. You started on 10 pence at the beginning of this game. And in just 18 holes, you have got up to £13,000. And that is the power of compounding. If you started on £1, you would hit, this is where my maths kick in, £130,000. Just think about it. You started on £1 a hole. All you did was double it each time. And you got to £130,000. And you might sit there and go, yeah, well, who cares, whatever. That's you doubling it, right? It's quite extreme. Well, what about me? I can't double my money each year. I know. But, if you're getting 5, 10, 15% returns, that adds up. It may not add up at the beginning, but once it starts to escalate, it gets huge. So that is the next point, okay? So first thing is, this exponential curve, when you start to increase it, you get to crazy numbers at the end. Now, when you look at successful people, this is what almost all financially successful people do, and you'll see it in their own situations. Almost always, they've gone through this curve and got to some really amazing numbers. Now, the key thing here, right, and this really is, I think, at the heart of why a lot of people do not apply this, and the difference really between poor and rich people, and that is the acknowledgement that on this curve, okay, x-axis, y-axis, got your nice, awesome compounding curve, okay, when you look at that beginning bit, it's rubbish. It's super rubbish. It just goes up super slowly. It's like, oh, well, that's pointless and boring, and oh, I'm not really making much money. What's the point? I invest my money, all I'm going to get is 10p on this hole at golf. Oh, I invest my £100, my £1,000. So what if I make 10% on this £1,000 that I invest? Wow, I make £100. Who cares? I can just work another day and make way more than £100. Who cares? That's what a lot of poor people think, and poor financially minded people think, okay? And you're different. I'm different. We're different, okay? And we do things differently. And the way we do things differently is we recognize that on this curve, you have to go through the start of the curve to get to the end of the curve, okay? You can't really short circuit it. There are some ways you can receive an inheritance of a huge amount of money, but for most people, you've got to work through this first bit. So the secret is just get through that first bit to the awesome bit where the numbers start to get really exciting. So the first thing is acknowledge that you've got to work through the small numbers to get to the bigger numbers. And to encourage you through that, start to think, instead of whether I want to do it or not, think, how can I speed it up? How can I get through the beginning of that curve quicker? Because everybody has this curve. You might have different numbers on the X and Y axes, but everybody has the same curve within their own life when it comes to their financial situation, and they're building to a strong financial future. So how do we speed it up? Well, we speed it up by investing more, saving more, earning more, applying that to more effective investments where we're getting a stronger return. And the better we're able to increase those levers, the quicker we are able to get past that, let's be honest, boring bit, to the bit where the numbers are really exciting, okay? And then the next bit is acknowledge that the beginning is just where you're learning the system. So even if you have small figures, you only have maybe £100 with £1,000 to invest, right? And you're saving a small amount each month. It's all good. It's all good. What you can do is you can use that money to practice, to learn the skills of being able to follow through on this curve. Consistency, being able to save every month, being able to invest that money every month, being able to learn what to invest, how to spend your time to be able to effectively manage it, to be able to do this whole process alongside everything else that's important in your life. So that when you start getting to the bigger numbers, you know what you're doing, right? Much better to practice when the numbers are small than when they are bigger, okay? And I've seen this in my own life. When I was younger, I was saving small amounts of money, and it was hard, and I didn't really want to do it because, let's be honest, I'd rather spend that on stuff, right? And it took some creative planning to be able to save up enough money to start building to my financial future. But geez, I look at the figures that I'm working with now, and they were incomprehensible to me when I started this journey. But now it feels normal. And I can guarantee in 1, 2, 5, 10 years time from now, I'll be doing the same, looking back at the numbers I'm looking at here. And that's the key to this compounding curve, right? So long as you stick to the process of spending less than you earn, saving that money consistently, right? So you're building up that pot of money and investing it so that you can then get a return on that money, so that the money that you're saving gets money as well, and it starts to build up even more, and you can accelerate that curve. You reinvest the returns you're getting from those investment returns. It starts to spiral, it starts to escalate till you get much bigger numbers, okay? So I hope that was useful. It is a really powerful tool, And I just want to reiterate this. Almost all financially successful people use this approach. And when I look at most people who are financially poor, they aren't. Okay? So there are many things that we need to understand in this area of financial education to really do well. But this is one of the no-brainers. This is one of the ones you really do need to understand and make sure you're applying in your own life so that you can have financial freedom too. And with that, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like it, share it with others that you think would find it beneficial. Comment, let me know how you thought of it. That would be the best way you could give back. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.